All right, you see a sell-by date on a can, and today's date is on the lid. Pop quiz. Should you throw it out? Do you really have to? You're going to find out what you can actually keep past the date and avoid throwing out perfectly good food in the trash.
Take a look around your home. Do you have a trampoline, a pool, a play set? If you do, you could be putting your homeowner's policy at risk. We learned how you can make certain your home is up to code.
We've heard of using Botox when it comes to helping minimize wrinkles. We've even heard it can help with medical conditions. But did you know it can also play a role in your dental care? How this procedure is changing the way some people smile.
We are now just weeks away from the hustle and bustle of the holidays, and while it can bring joy for so many people, it can also bring stress. Coming up, we learn 4 fast and easy ways you can de-stress.
I've been waiting all day to do that. The Story Pirates are sailing into Delaware. What 3 young students have to do with their performance and how their dream of hitting the big stage could be coming to life.
And The Crazy Ones is a new drama on CBS this season, but it's certainly already creating a buzz. We take you behind the scenes of this hit show and get to learn a little more about an up-and-coming star. Delaware Life starts right now. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lisa Bryant.
I'm Jimmy Hopple. Welcome to Delaware Live from historic Studio D.
It is November, and it looks like we're just days away from a very important day in November, and that being Veterans Day.
Yeah. Just to let you know, there's going to be several ceremonies all over the peninsula. One in particular, the WICO War Memorial Committee is sponsoring Monday's ceremony at Salisbury's Civic Center. It's going to begin at 11 o'clock in the morning. Just in case there is inclement weather, they'll move inside to the Midway Room. That ceremony including patriotic music, prayer, and remembrance to honor all veterans.
Yeah, and as we said, it is Monday, and there's a special ceremony in Princess Anne on Sunday. The Somerset County War of 1812 Committee will honor veterans of the war. This is Shawn O'Rourke and Warner Sumter placing flags on the graves in the Minogan Presbyterian Church Cemetery in Princess Anne. Now they're planning a brief ceremony to be held at 1 p.m. at American Legion Post 94 in Princess Anne, followed by trips to 3 local cemeteries to place flags on veterans' graves.
And there are a lot of family names that are still in the area of those veterans from 1812. It's incredible.
Wow.
Can we say congratulations real quick to Leah Wainwright of Appoquinimink High School? She was named the Delaware Teacher of the Year last night in Dover. Congratulations to you. She's a French teacher. She was chosen from among 17 Teachers of the Year from local school districts by a team of Department of Education experts and outside evaluators. So congratulations to you.
And while we're handing out those congratulations, we have one for Mardela Warriors on their first ever 1A East Regional Final Soccer Championship. Way to go, guys.
Woo-hoo.
It was a come from behind win, and they now play at North County High School on Friday for a spot in the, get this, the state championship.
Oh, you know they're ready for that.
Yeah.
Just in case you happen to be in the Rehoboth Beach, or I'm sorry, the Dewey Beach area, pretty close to the same, and you hear this buzzing overhead.
Yeah.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's not Superman. It's probably this little unmanned aerial aircraft, call it a drone. If you look closely, you can see a camera hanging under it there on the left. That's the controller on the right. The owner of the Dewey Skimboard Shop, Ali Oop, is also a realtor. He's using drones, or he has anyway, he's used them to film skim competitions, and now he's looking at going up and down the coast and taking panoramic shots for realty.
Yeah.
So great idea there.
Interesting. Hey, we're less than a week away from a big date, and I'm not talking about Veterans Day. I'm talking about 11/12/13. It's next Tuesday, November 12th. A recent survey indicates that there will be as many as 3,000 weddings on that day. Remember when, you know, everyone was tying the knot on, you know, like 5, 6, 7, things like that.
Yeah.
I think the big one was 777. 65,000 couples tied the knot according to a survey.
So 11/12/13.
Yeah, so there's a big one coming up. The last one this century actually is next year, 12/13/14, and guess what? It's on a Saturday.
Uh-oh.
So
See
lots
that
of
one
weddings
coming, yeah.
that day. Well, a sure sign that the holidays are near, ringing bells and red kettles outside shopping centers. For 122 years, the Salvation Army has collected money for those in need through its annual kettle campaign. But the Salvation Army is about more than collecting money for the holidays.
From youth programs to prison ministries, even Veterans Affairs Services, the Salvation Army has long made it its mission to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ and to meet human needs in His name without discrimination. Now,
a mission that has taken Majors Vic and Ellen Tidman of Salisbury to the other side of the world and back again.
Our life is not to be about what we want.
Ellen Tidman didn't originally set out to become a preacher.
It is to be about what God wants.
всю нашу жизнь сделать то, что хочет.
And certainly not one who needed a Russian translator. But that is what Ellen and her husband Vic did for 6 years as Salvation Army majors in St. Petersburg, Russia.
It must always be focused on reality.
Vic Tidman is a fourth-generation Salvation Army officer.
And that's kind of unusual in the Salvation Army. My dad was an officer, my granddad was an officer, my great-grandmother was an officer in the Army, and so was my great-grandfather. So we go, of course, way back in the Army world.
But their connection started before their time with the Salvation Army.
I tell everybody I looked into her deep blue eyes and I fell in, and I haven't been able to get out ever since.
Vic and Ellen started dating in college and married before Vic graduated.
We were so young, and she still is so beautiful.
As for their future, Vic didn't plan on following in his father's footsteps.
I actually started out, my college degree is in education, and I started out as a YMCA program director, and then worked with the Y for 12 years, and was working with my church. During that time, we didn't attend an Army because we were in the YMCA in Perry, Oklahoma.
Ellen grew up in a Methodist church.
We were in Perry, of course, there was not a Salvation Army near, so we went to the Methodist church with our children, and they grew up there, and they just thought it was wonderful.
And before long, Vic received the calling to fall in line behind his father.
When he said he felt like the Lord was calling him into ministry, I said, well, will we go to the Methodist church? And he said, I think we need to check on Salvation Army. And I said, well, if I'm going to do that, I need to know a little bit more about what the Salvation Army is about.
That's because in Salvation Army, a couple can't choose for one to become an officer and the other not to. It has to be a joint commitment. And that's exactly what Vic and Ellen did, taking on 2- and 3-year assignments in Oklahoma, Virginia, and Georgia. Then, one phone call changed everything.
We had a friend who was serving in Romania. And he called me up and he said, Ellen, I really would like for you guys to come to Romania to help me. And I said, oh, well, I said, you need somebody young and with lots of energy. And I said, we're old people.
Vic says he had no desire to go overseas, but that didn't matter. God had a different plan.
Will didn't convince me, but God eventually convinced me that I was supposed to go overseas. And we're glad we did. We're really glad that we had that opportunity to serve over in Russia.
And that's how they ended up in St. Petersburg.
One of our major challenges is the language, because neither one of us spoke Russian, and neither one of us, I think, are gifted with the gift of tongues. So it was a struggle for us. We worked through translation. We learned some basic Russian. We could go to the grocery store, we could talk to the lady at the market.
To say it was a culture shock would be a bit of an understatement.
You do learn a new normal when you immerse yourself in a culture, and at first that can be pretty scary in a lot of ways. In Russia, cultural life is all about relationships, and in America, we're largely about law. So the law is not that important in Russia, and it can be a scary place, for instance, in some way, because we have this image in our minds in America that the police are our friends, and that's a good thing. You know, we know that if we're having trouble and there's a policeman, we're taught this as a very young child, you can run to the policeman and you'll be safe. That's not always true in Russia. Police are not always your friends. Sometimes a lot of the way that everything works is through corruption and bribes.
They had to change the way they ministered to the poor and the homeless.
Homeless people in Russia are really in desperate situations. Culturally, the homeless are really looked down on. They're treated almost like, I call them modern-day lepers over there. People are afraid that they're going to get disease. They're afraid to touch them. They're afraid to be near them.
But none of that stopped them from doing what they had been sent there to do, help those who needed it the most. Vic and Ellen know they made a difference, but worry about the country they left behind.
I worry about Russia economically. The cost of living
Keeps going up.
is going up much quicker than people's salaries are increasing.
They also know there's work to be done here as well.
So we think we're going to be dealing with the most hurting families ever in the history of the Army here this year.
But the time in Russia has taught them well.
I think that I have also learned maybe that it doesn't all have to happen through me. You know, I think in America we have this kind of type A thing where that you feel like that you're the beginning and the end, and really it's okay to be in the middle somewhere, so I'm a little bit better with that.
I'm still waiting to see how God is going to use what He's taught me during that time.
And the Tidman tradition extends into a 5th generation. Vic and Ellen's son and daughter-in-law are in the process of becoming majors in the Salvation Army. Now here's your opportunity to help. The Salvation Army Red Kettle campaign kicks off in a few weeks. In Salisbury, the bell ringing corps is 100% volunteer, so they need your help. If you can spare a few hours to ring the bell, there are plenty of slots to fill. Some locations will be available starting November 22nd. The Red Kettle campaign officially begins Black Friday when all locations will be set up. And you can call this number, 410-749-RING, to volunteer.
Now, you and I were talking a little bit.
Yeah.
I would never get it from that, but you said they're really a lot of fun.
They are a lot of fun.
Wow.
Really enjoyed them, and we're lucky to have them here.
Great.
Well, up next on Delmarva Life, pick up a gallon of milk, some yogurt, even infant formula, and you'll see a sell-by or best-by date. But what does that date actually mean? Well, we'll tell you why it depends on where you live. Plus, we're going to learn how to do a simple test to help you find out if your eggs are fresh.
Okay, while we're at home, take a good look around yours. Some of the things in your yard may actually be driving up your insurance rates. We're going to find out what they are and what you can do about them.
And later, between work, the bills, upcoming holidays, are you stressed out? You might be surprised to find out how easy it can be to relax. We're going to show you. Delmarva Life, we'll be right back.
Delmarva Life is brought to you by Sussex County Federal Credit Union, guiding you to your financial future. Peninsula Regional Medical Center, honored to serve the entire Delmarva Peninsula since 1897. Your local York and LG dealers, and State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.